Last night I spoke to the Marlin City Council, and it was in reference to the sewer issues that we had out here at the Falls County Jail. On December the 26th, it was approximately 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I got a call from our dispatch. They indicated that it was, or they just told me that the sewer was backing up into the jail. I explained to them to go through a few steps, and first thing I told them was to go outside, have one of the staff members go outside and check the perimeter and look over behind the prison that's behind us here. And if they could see a red beacon shining, then I'd know what the problem is. Since being here and since taking office January 1st of 17, I've learned that if that red beacon is on over there behind the prison, that's the City of Marlin's sewer lift station. If that beacon is on, that means there's trouble at that lift station. The lift station is down. They looked and they said, yes, the beacon is on, I told them then, call Marlin PD Dispatch and have them send out an on-call public works worker to have the sewer lift station fixed immediately. I didn't hear back. I expected to hear something back. So in about 30 minutes, I called back to my dispatch and asked them, had they heard anything from the public works, and they said they hadn't heard anything. They called over and checked, and Marlin PD's dispatch told them that they had made contact with public works, the on-call, and that guy had told them that he didn't have a key to anything, and he didn't have keys to that lift station, and he was not going to be going out to look at it. And they need to keep trying. They could try and find somebody else, or he'd fix it in the morning. Well, that's not sufficient when you have a jail full of inmates. I strive to have all of my staff members treat all these inmates the same. Treat them as you would want to be treated if you were inside here. And that's not how, that's inhumane in my opinion. I started calling. I called the city manager on his cell phone and did not get an answer. I called the mayor on his cell phone, did not get an answer. I called Councilman Scotty Henderson. He answered the phone right away. I explained to him what had just taken place, and he said, that's ludicrous. He would take care of it. He was going to call another council member who had a lot of the phone numbers of staff. I said, I sure appreciate it. He hung up. I went ahead and I called Ulysses Outland, who I knew to be a city worker, and I called him and told him what had just taken place, and he said that's just not going to cut it. I'll call the boss now, and I'll tell him so that we can get out there and fix that thing. I said thank you. The sewer backing up was terrible at the time, though. It was minimal backup. I mean, it had just started. So basically, what had happened was anytime someone would flush a toilet, it just wouldn't flush. And then it would overflow and start kind of backing up into the jail, just a little bit. Okay, so if it wasn't like this massive flooding, but it was backing up enough that you knew the sewer was backing up into the jail. But we definitely had a problem, and it was the lift station at the sewer lift station behind us. It was not functioning. But when you'd flush the toilet, it wouldn't flush, and so it would overflow. And then you had some of the other toilets that would overflow because of that, and they would start eventually having sewer come out. And we've got drain lines, but again, if the sewer is backing up on you, those drain lines that we have built into the floors of the jail, they're not going to do you any good. I mean, if the sewer is backing up, the entire place is backing up.
So it was something that required immediate attention.
That's right. I mean, you had to do something immediately or else. One of the staff members asked me, did he need to go and do anything? But by this time, Andrew Poe, who is the public works director, had called me and told me that he was sorry about the problem, sorry about the mix-up on getting somebody out here. He was on it, and he would have somebody out here, and he was on his way, and they would have that thing fixed just within a matter of minutes. They would have it fixed. Everything would be fine. Well, by now it was 10 o'clock at night. I figured that I could take his word for it, that he was going to fix it, and everything would be okay. I went on to bed thinking that it was okay. Well, out here, we pretty much rack up at about 10 o'clock. So everybody, all the inmates and what have you, very little toilet use would have been needed at 10 o'clock or after, because it's just like when you're at home. You don't use the toilet frequently after 10 when you're in bed. You know, you may have an occasional go get up and use the restroom during the night or something of that nature, but it's not heavy usage like you do during the daytime. So I didn't get too upset, too concerned, because, you know, he told me they were going to fix the lift station. That was it. We wake up out here, and our day starts in the jail at around 5 o'clock. So I knew nothing else other than my conversation with Mr. Poe that it was going to be fixed right then and there. No problems. When I got up to the office, to the jail the next morning, it was probably somewhere between 8:30 and 9 when I first got to the jail. And when I got here, I noticed that they were having to sweep and push water and sewer, but looks like, you know, sewer waste out of the Sallyport door, out of the big garage bay doors. I asked them what they were doing, and they said the sewer started backing up first thing in the morning when they all started getting up. That the sewer actually never had quit backing up into the jail. So I immediately called the city manager's office, and he was not in his office. So I asked for the city secretary. Ms. Herring spoke to me. She was very polite, very understanding of what my problem was. She had me speak to Mr. Poe, and he told me that they had actually fixed the problem up to a point, but that once they got to a certain point, they needed an electrician to finish it, and the city doesn't have an electrician on staff, so they had to stop. And that's when I probably lost it the most, and I told him that I didn't care, but that they needed to call an electrician when that happens, not just let it go. That when they left it that night, then, you know, when I called them on the night of the 26th, they fixed it to that point, and they needed an electrician, and they just left it. However the sewer was is how it was.
And in the meantime,
it's
things
still
got
backing
worse.
Up, and it got worse because at 5 o'clock when everybody gets up, then what's the first thing everybody does when you first get up? Everybody starts using the restroom, washing your hands, taking showers. Everything starts backing up again. Well, now instead of it just when the toilets are flushing, it's actually coming in the jail. So it's flooding the jail. So what they had done was the staff had taken it upon themselves to try to help relieve the situation, try to save as much as we could. So we went outside and they opened up the clean outs. You know, the clean out valves we have 2 major clean outs. They took the caps off of both of them, and it forced the water or the sewage to come to out the clean out valves, which would dump onto the ground, which that's not the way it's supposed to be, but it's a whole lot better than dumping it on the people that are in the jail, or into the Sallyport, in the garage area there. And out in that garage area, the water was pretty deep. So it had been dumping a lot of water. But it saved a lot of us, or it saved a lot of them from inside in the jail itself from getting sewage just pumped in on top of them, because it just kind of left it out. We were pumping it outside or pumping it into the Sallyport. Anytime, you know, the Texas Commission on Jail Standards, we have to abide by a set of standards The Texas Commission on Jail Standards is the ones who oversee us to make sure that we abide by those standards as they are written. If anybody that complains on anything that we do wrong in the jail, if they feel that they've been wronged, anybody, if anyone in the jail feels that they've been wronged, someone can file on their behalf. It could be something as simple as I mailed out a letter and it hadn't got to its destination. I want to know what happened to it. Well, as a result of the sewage backup, we've gotten 2 complaints filed with the jail commission against us. So what the process is with that is we're given a length of time, usually to file a response. We have to give them a written response as to if it's true or not, and if it is, explain why it happened, and then what we're going to do to rectify the situation, or what was done to rectify the situation. You know, this is not the first time we've gotten something as a result of the inactions of the city of Marlin. I mean, when the water was out there for a while, we got complaints in, you know, but as soon as the water went out the last time, I didn't take a chance. They said it's only going to be out for a little bit. I didn't take a chance. I have a jail that has usually anywhere from 90 to 100 people in it. I can't take chances, and I can't rely on the city of Marlin to say we don't think it's going to be down very long. That doesn't help me. So I have to order porta potties. I have to go get water. You know, so we keep about a pallet full of water on hand, bottled water, and as soon as we call for porta potties, they come right away, and that's how we have to deal with it. The sewage problem, that's a whole different ballgame. We don't have a lot of control over how we can stop the sewer from coming in. I can tell you that what did happen is we did get 2 complaints filed against us with the jail commission that I had to respond to. On the day that I had found out about it, on the 26th, and then on the 27th, when I found that they hadn't corrected the problem, I went ahead and I called a plumber to come out here to make sure we weren't having any problems and to check our system, because with all that sewer that had backed up on us, we're kind of at the bottom of the hill, so to say. So we probably were getting a lot of the sewer from the prison, actually, because if the pump station, the lift station, is not able to pump it out, then when it goes from the prison, it's got to go somewhere. Well, it's going to come right down to us. So we probably got a lot of it. So I had the plumber come out, and he came out and said, "You've got a problem. This is a direct result from that sewer backup. I'm going to try to open it up and try to unclog it, but this is a direct result." We have a shredder on our stuff that prevents it from ever happening, you know, going out. But we didn't have it coming in. We've got a stoppage, but apparently it's not strong enough to hold when it just comes in. He unclogged one of the cleans and said it was stopped up with some styrofoam cups. The only kind of styrofoam cups we use are the very small ones that you'd use to drink coffee out of mainly. That's all the styrofoam cups that we use. I don't think there's that many of them that could block a 2.5 inch, 3 inch pipe. He unclogged that. The next problem was even bigger though. The next clean got over onto the other side, and that's where it comes out of the kitchen. It goes through a grease trap. The grease trap had been doing its job fine, catching the grease and stopping it, but the sewer backup caused that grease trap to back up into the jail as well. So the grease was starting to back up into the jail. That's when a major problem began, because then you're going to have major issues. One of them, you're going to have to clean your pipes out. The other is now your traps are full. Each time you have to pump them out costs a pretty good chunk of change that shouldn't have had to have happened. I don't think the city of Marlin realizes, the city manager realizes what kind of position that puts me in, what kind of position that puts the county in when we're dealing with something so serious as the Texas Commission on Jail Standards. That puts us kind of on the radar, so to say. I was born and raised here. I've never seen the city in this disrepair in my entire life. From the time I was 13 years old, I've been working. I had a little paper route downtown when I was 13. I've never seen this town in the shape that it's in. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's just one person's fault, but what I'm going to say is the years of neglect is now something we need to deal with. The city manager that we have, Alan Grindstaff, is not the guy that's going to put this together and get it to go. He is not concerned about this city one bit. He's not concerned about any problems that come across his desk one bit. It's my understanding that he was having trouble getting his figures together on just regular bills. So the answer to that, they hired somebody to do finance. So they have a finance director now. Well, you know, when are we going to stop? You know, the city is going to keep continuing to have that bleed until we get rid of this city manager that we've got. Now, I've been told and I've seen some documents that some individuals have come up with. They've put out open records requests and they've gotten responses back from places where Mr. Grindstaff has been the city manager. These documents are very damaging to Mr. Grindstaff. These documents outline his inability to lead any organization. The one of them that sticks out is in Jasper. He essentially helped close the hospital that they had in that little town. You know, that's a big blow. That would be like closing our hospital, you know, but he himself made decisions that essentially ended up causing that hospital to have to file bankruptcy and close. He was ran out of that town. There's other towns that he did the exact same thing. They have everywhere that he's gone. They've got his work history. And what they've done is they've sent an open records request to see his personnel file at each one of these places. And what they've compiled all of this together in one book, so to say. So all the documents are there, and they all come as original responses from these other entities, which is probably a good background check that should have been done before we hired him, but it didn't get done, and now we have him. But my point to the council last night was, and my challenge that I gave them was, let's not dwell on the past. What's done is done. We're in it for now, for the future. If Mr. Grindstaff wants to continue being the city manager, and he wants to continue sitting in that chair like now, then I challenge each one of them to go ahead and ask for a vote of no confidence and vote on him, and let's get him removed from his chair.